Welcome back for the latest instalment of Mega Man 9. Just 2 Robot Masters left. Things are really hotting up now. So, from a perfect run perspective anyway, let's go after, can't believe I'm saying this, the lesser of 2 evils, Magma Man. This place is a death trap. Goes without saying really, but the magma, just like Spike's, is insta-kill, do not fall in. So we have lots of these shielded flame flying enemies in the first screen. They'll float down, try to flamethrower you, then fly off screen. When you know where they'll move to, it's the same every time, they're not so bad. If you're slightly unsure, well then they're likely to catch you out, as you'll see several times during this run through. And for those fire totems, hit them 4 times in the face and stay a good distance away, out of range of the fireballs they hurl in your direction. And as long as we're keeping count, that's 1. Didn't remember where it was going to end up. Now, like the pits, the magma pillars are also insta-kill, so don't touch. Although I do always like it when you get just close enough so that embers appear. And that's 2. Again, thought it was going to end up lower down, but instead of jumping over it, I of course jumped straight into it. And feeling particularly clumsy by now, I decided to wait here until the 4th fireball, he shoots in sets of 4s, was over to the right to give myself a bit of time to climb the ladder and stay out of range. And that brings us to the 4th and final mid-boss, the Magma Dragon. His only real attack is to shoot out Mario 2-looking fireballs along the ground, but his bobbing up and down can put him in an awkward position for you to jump over the fireballs and not clatter into him. A good tactic, however, is to head to the edge of the screen he's going to appear from. That way you should always be way out of the dragon's way. Won't stop the idiotic player from landing straight on top of fireballs, but what can you do? Not doing so hot here, am I? Now you might as well take out the floor-walking enemies as soon as you can. We actually saw some of them earlier in the stage. They were in the magma pits, but they're much less threatening here since, not being in the magma, they don't constantly aim fire in your direction. We'll see them again later though, don't worry. And yes, I'm a bit on the overly safe side here, but probably still worth taking out all the fire totems to give yourself a clean run on the lower path, which you'll eventually need to take. That's a very makeable but don't take for granted jump, and I typically like to sneak close to the edge rather than take a running jump. And for that previous screen, if you just head to where you need to go without slowing down, you'll avoid the magma pillar on both occasions, so the best strategy is just to leg it. And a slightly slower section here, so it's probably a good time to mention that Concrete Shock actually solidifies the magma pillars for a short period, so if you're in a hurry to get through, it's a very useful option. And just before the boss gate here are those floor enemies again. These ones are especially annoying as they can jump up and catch you with their fire trails. And me trying desperately to avoid that, I don't jump in time, fall off the ledge, and I'm incredibly lucky I didn't immediately die. So thanks enemy, you actually saved me. From death anyway. The least said about my pride, the better. Magma Man is a pain of a boss fight to take no damage on, case in point. Now yes, all he does is fire 3 magma shots and jump, which doesn't sound too bad, right? Well, the problem comes from the spacing which you have to work in to avoid him clattering into you. It's minimal, believe me, particularly if he jumps low. The uneven terrain means you have to be so precise in running or jumping under him. This get-up-close tactic might seem silly, but it's still comfortably the best strategy, as it more or less takes the magma shots out of the equation. That doesn't mean it's easy to pull off, though. That was one of the worst stage showings I've had to date, but at the end of the day, I still get Magma Bazooka. It fires 3 magma shots, much like the Robot Master, and is both a very handy spread shot weapon, as well as good for dealing 3 times damage if you're close enough to an enemy that all 3 shots hit it. Perfect run, anyone? No, don't think I'd raise my hand either following that nightmare. That being said, for those of you expecting a plethora of outtakes on the level, let's leave the Robot Master out of the equation for now, might be surprised and or disappointed. There was still just shy of a double-digit number, so the level didn't go splendidly, but I absolutely believe that a lot of the hits I took in the Let's Play version were due to not having played the game in a while, or complete idiocy. Playing this stage over and over in quick succession while going for a perfect run meant that yes, I suffered a lot of level outtakes early on, but, and here's a perfect example, once I knew where all the flamethrower flyers finish up, a lot of the danger went away, leaving only really the last screen as an obvious potential slip-up point. And again here, duck the first and jump the second. Once I had that nailed, I didn't even need to slow down for that section. Cut that a bit close though. And unfortunately, still messed up a couple of times on the dragon, even knowing what the strategy should be. I can only really assume that I think like what happened earlier, I was paying more attention to trying to deal damage, rather than looking at the fireballs to see when it will be best to jump. No excuses for that. And past the dragon, nothing really until the final stretch, although I did rather embarrassingly fail to make this jump on one occasion. So yes, I wish these weren't here at the end of the level. And how close these fire streams come to catching me is precisely why. A couple of outtakes here, and it's their proximity to the boss gate that makes them all that more annoying. Oh boy, so many failures, so little time. No, really, the boss fight goes by super quick. I actually don't have a whole lot to add to what I said earlier, to be honest. This looks easy enough, but really isn't. You have to not jump too early so as to avoid smacking into Magma, but not jump too late that Magma catches you as it lands. And the time window you were afforded to pull this off is incredibly tight. This one was painful, and I wasn't comforted by the fact that there was still another Robot Master left that I thought would be even worse. It took 1 hour and 50 minutes to achieve the successful perfect run, during which time I suffered 33 outtakes, with 24 of these thanks to Magma himself. So, in case you couldn't tell, I think the level is definitely easier than the Robot Master. Once you know where the flame shield enemies will swoop to, avoiding them is easy, and as long as you're not stupid, you should never ever run into any of the Magma pillars. On the flip side, the jumping fire enemies at the end of the level can be really irritating if they decide to jump at the wrong moment. You can very easily get tagged by their fire trails. Also, while heading to the corners makes the fire dragon mid-boss fight easier, depending on at what height the dragon enters the screen, and hence when you'll first shoot flames at the floor, avoiding his first wave can be awkward. But still, I don't think either of these things is likely to catch you out all that frequently, and hence I don't think the level is that difficult. Magma is another matter. For a Robot Master with only one attack, meaning I'm never surprised by what he does, he's a right royal pain in the neck. All he does is jump and fire out 3 flame blasts, one horizontally, one diagonally upwards, and one diagonally downwards. He never just walks by the way. He's like Guts in that respect. He has to jump in order to move. The problem is that he jumps at different heights, so there's never a known safe spot before he attacks. This makes staying away from him and having to react to the flame blast extremely tricky, and it's not a strategy I can recommend. As counterintuitive as it may seem, the best thing to do is to stay close to Magma and constantly try to get him to jump over you. The flame blasts actually aren't of any concern if you do this, so that's great. Unfortunately, colliding with Magma, especially when he does a low jump, is so easy to do, and that's a huge problem. It's still less dangerous than trying to react to flame blasts on the fly, but that's not saying much. Getting the timing right so that you don't jump too early and into Magma, but don't jump too late, then Magma will land on you, is a colossal pain and will almost certainly require a lot of practice to get a rhythm down. And by practice, for me anyway, that ended up equating to 24 failed perfect run attempts. But surprised by the mood rating? Well, as difficult as this turned out to be, in comparison to say Wood Stage, the level is substantially easier. So I felt like I was much more consistently able to reach the Robot Master, and thus this didn't actually feel anywhere near as annoying. Don't get me wrong though, this was still a hell of a mood swing coming off the back of Concrete, Tornado and Jewel, and I certainly couldn't claim for a moment that I was still in a good mood. Magma earns an 8 out of 10 rating from me. The only other stage to date I've given that score to is Wood, which is none too surprising, as I definitely feel my perfect run experiences on Wood most closely tally with my experiences here. The level for the most part is not too bad. Avoiding all the flame shield enemies once you know what to do is pretty straightforward. However, the jumping fire enemies can sometimes jump at the worst possible times and catch you with their fire trails, and it's easy, well for me anyway, to mess up on the fire dragon mid-boss, so don't take it for granted. But it's Magma that takes the difficulty up to a whole different level. For what looks like a simple fight, when things go well, making those small movements and jumps underneath Magma is very tricky to pull off. And I think 24 outtakes more than attest to that. 8 out of 10 is well deserved. So 7 down, 1 to go. And if you want to know how I felt about having to take on the remaining Robot Master stage, just spell it backwards. Then replace it with any number of other slightly stronger 4-letter words. So, will a plug be put in my clean sweep of Mega Man 9 perfect runs? How shocking will my experience be? Will I be able to sock it to the Robot Master? How many puns do I still have in reserve? All the answers to come next time. Cheerio.